I prefer the company of peasants because they have not been educated sufficiently to reason incorrectly. The only good histories are those that have been written by the persons themselves who commanded in the affairs whereof they write. I care not so much what I am to others as what I am to myself. I will be rich by myself, and not by borrowing. He who fears he shall suffer already suffers what he fears. Don't discuss yourself, for you are bound to lose. If you belittle yourself, you are believed. If you praise yourself, you are disbelieved. There is a sort of gratification in doing good which makes us rejoice in ourselves. Since I would rather make of him an able man than a learned man, I would also urge that care be taken to choose a guide with a well-made rather than a well-filled head. The most certain sign of wisdom is cheerfulness. On the highest throne in the world, we still sit only on our own bottom. The greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. I quote others only in order the better to express myself. When I am attacked by gloomy thoughts, nothing helps me so much as running to my books. They quickly absorb me and banish the clouds from my mind. To call out for the hand of the enemy is a rather extreme measure, yet a better one, I think, than to remain in continual fever over an accident that has no remedy. They make me hate things that are likely when they would impose them upon me as infallible. Great abuses in the world are begotten, or, to speak more boldly, all the abuses of the world are begotten by our being taught to be afraid of professing our ignorance, and that we are bound to accept all things we are not able to refute. A little of all things, but nothing of everything, after the French manner. I want to be seen here in my simple, natural, ordinary fashion, without straining or artifice, for it is myself that I portray. I am myself, the matter of my book. Atheism being a proposition as unnatural as monstrous, difficult also and hard to establish in the human understanding, how arrogant soever, there are men enough seen out of vanity and pride. God's justice and his power are inseparable. 'Tis in vain we invoke his power in an unjust cause. Those who have compared our life to a dream were right. If I speak of myself in different ways, that is because I look at myself in different ways. Learned we may be with another man's learning. We can only be wise with wisdom of our own. If you press me to say why I loved him, I can say no more than it was because he was he, and I was I. Nothing fixes a thing so intensely in the memory as the wish to forget it. There is nothing more notable in Socrates than that he found time, when he was an old man, to learn music and dancing, and thought it time well spent. I am afraid that our eyes are bigger than our stomachs, and that we have more curiosity than understanding. We grasp at everything, but catch nothing except wind. Man is certainly crazy. He could not make a mite, and he makes gods by the dozen. Nothing is so firmly believed as that which we least know. How many things served us yesterday for articles of faith, which today are fables for us? Lend yourself to others, but give yourself to yourself. To forbid us anything is to make us have a mind for it. I find I am much prouder of the victory I obtain over myself, when in the very ardor of dispute I make myself submit to my adversary's force of reason, than I am pleased with the victory I obtain over him through his weakness. If there is such a thing as a good marriage, it is because it resembles friendship rather than love. Obsession is the wellspring of genius and madness. Let us give nature a chance. She knows her business better than we do. I speak truth not so much as I would, but as much as I dare, and I dare a little the more as I grow older. Off I go, rummaging about in books for sayings which please me. The greater part of the world's troubles are due to questions of grammar. My art and profession is to live. Confidence in others' honesty is no light testimony of one's own integrity. The most fruitful and natural exercise for our minds is, in my opinion, conversation. I do not believe, from what I have been told about this people, that there is anything barbarous or savage about them, except that we all call barbarous anything that is contrary to our own habits. There were many terrible things in my life, and most of them never happened. Every man has within himself the entire human condition. Ignorance is the softest pillow on which a man can rest his head. Marriage is like a cage. One sees the birds outside desperate to get in, and those inside equally desperate to get out. He who establishes his argument by noise and command shows that his reason is weak. There is no knowledge so hard to acquire as the knowledge of how to live this life well and naturally. Every movement reveals us. I know that the arms of friendship are long enough to reach from the one end of the world to the other. No one is exempt from speaking nonsense. The only misfortune is to do it solemnly. Why do people respect the package rather than the man? No wind favors he who has no destined port. I have seen no more evident monstrosity and miracle in the world than myself. No man is exempt from saying silly things. The mischief is to say them deliberately. I listen with attention to the judgment of all men, but so far as I can remember, I have followed none but my own. There is as much difference between us and ourselves as between us and others. If ordinary people complain that I speak too much of myself, I complain that they do not even think of themselves.